Chapter 10. Thanks a million. Jack pushed his glasses into place and opened A History of New Orleans Music. What's that, man? Dipper asked. It's a history book, said Jack. Teddy and Kathleen gave it to us, said Annie. Ah, yeah, my best friends, said Dipper. Jack looked in the index of the book. He found the right page and turned to it. I'm going to read something to you, man, said Jack. Just listen. And Jack read, As a young teenager, Louis Armstrong often performed with kid bands on the streets of the city. Eventually, he played with older musicians in dance halls, and he developed his musical talents performing on Mississippi riverboats. When he was 21, he moved to Chicago, where he played in the well-known band of his old friend Joe Oliver. Joe Oliver? Said Dipper. Joe's in that book? I'm in that book? Yep, hold on, there's more, said Jack. He read, One time Louis Armstrong became world famous, but he always called New Orleans home. The city honored him by naming a large park, the Louis Armstrong Park. It also named its airport the Louis Armstrong International Airport. What's that, International Airport? Asked Dipper. That's where planes fly in and out from all over the world, said Annie. Dipper started laughing. Y'all are pulling my leg. No, said Jack, we're not. Look at this, Dipper. He held up the book and showed Dipper the picture of Louis Armstrong, the king of jazz, playing the trumpet in front of a huge crowd. That's you, Dipper. Jack waited for Dipper to laugh and say the picture wasn't him, but Dipper stopped smiling and nodded. Yeah, I've seen that picture before, he said softly. You have? Said Jack, stunned. You've seen this picture before? Said Annie. Where? Here, Dipper touched his chest. Here in my heart. It's a picture I've had in my heart for a long time, like a dream. Hey, y'all, is this a dream? Jack and Annie laughed. Annie smiled. Yes, you could say that, she said. But it's a true dream, said Jack. Keep that picture in your heart, Dipper, said Annie. Hold it close to you, and one day you'll be living it, we promise. For a long time, the three of them just stared at the picture. When Jack looked at Dipper again, he saw tears glisten in Dipper's eyes. Okay, I'll do it, said Dipper. He wiped his eyes with the palms of his hands. I think I can keep my jobs and start making a little room for my music, too. Yes, said Annie. Maybe you should go play with the fellas on the riverboat tonight, said Jack. Yeah, maybe I'll try it and do that, said Dipper. Great, said Annie. Jack heaved a sigh and put away their book. Dipper stood up. But now y'all have to get going. On the eve of All Saints' Day, there's a curfew for kids under 13. They have to be off the streets by 9, or the paddy wagon will pick 'em up. So you're definitely on the path to sharing your musical gift with the world, right, man? Asked Jack. Dipper laughed. I reckon I am, he said, thanks to a couple of potato heads. Okay, good, said Jack. He and Annie stood up. To get home, we need to walk to Bourbon Street and catch a streetcar to Canal Street. Let's go, said Dipper. The three of them left the waterfront. They walked past Jackson Square and headed past the cathedral on St. Peter Street. I'll walk y'all back to Bourbon Street, said Dipper. Then do you have time to ride back with us to Canal Street, said Annie, so we can hang out together a little bit longer on the train? You know I can't do that, said Dipper. They won't let me sit with y'all on the streetcar. Why not? Asked Jack. I'd have to sit in the back while y'all sit up front, said Dipper. What are you talking about? Said Annie. Y'all are white. I'm black, said Dipper. So? Said Annie. Black folks aren't allowed to sit with white folks. That's the way it is, said Dipper. Are you kidding? That's crazy, said Annie. No, I'm not kidding, said Dipper. He stopped walking and looked closely at Jack and Annie. Where are y'all from? How'd you get that crazy history book with my picture in it? And why did y'all come here to find me? It's really, really hard to explain, Dipper, said Jack. But just know this. One day, things are going to change. Everybody will sit together on trains and buses and planes. And one day, an African-American man will run for president of the United States, said Annie, and millions of people of all colors will vote for him. And he'll win, said Jack. Dipper laughed and shook his head. Okay, now I know I'm dreaming, he said, but I really like this dream. It's the truth, said Annie. We promise. By now they had come to the corner of St. Peter and Bourbon Street. "This is where I leave you," said Dipper. Annie threw her arms around Dipper and gave him a big hug. "Goodbye, Dipper." Jack did the same. "Bye, man," he said. "Thanks a million." "Same to you," said Dipper. "Hey, there's your streetcar now." The streetcar glided to a stop at the corner. Jack and Annie hopped aboard and sat in front. As the streetcar went up Bourbon Street, they stuck their heads out the window and waved to Dipper. He waved back. Jack and Annie waved and waved until they couldn't see Dipper any more.